You can get away with it.
Does it personally insult anyone else as much as it does me that the astrologian does exist, has a dual disc, but it is on his hip?
Yeah. Why is it not on the arm?
You know why?
They have one arm to hold the orb and then the other arm for the disc. Why is it? Doesn't make sense.
Can you imagine the walking animation where he's holding the arm in one, but also has the dual disc out? Bro, his traps must be fucking jacked. Like, holy shit. His lats? I don't know. That's crazy. If his arms are
Lalafels.
Ew.
Jesus.
Like a jacked Lalafell?
Jacked Astro Lalafell.
Bluff is fun.
Like a really buff. No, but like it's all upper body, right? So it'd be like
Yeah.
all arms and lats and chest.
Have you seen the video where the guy actually makes it so that he can use like a dual disc as a peripheral to play Astro?
Yes, I think I know. Is it the same guy that made like the Nerf Gunblade?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
that video I saw.
That guy's cool as shit. Like those are so funny.
That guy has way too much time. Get a job.
Yeah.
Get a fucking job. The queue has popped, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 2 of the Light Party Podcast. You already know who it is. It's your favorite Warrior of Light's least favorite Warrior of Light, TITO KMF. We're back here. The Light Party's here, and we are joined by Mike.
What's up?
We are also joined by Virum.
Good evening, everybody.
And as always, your favorite shot caller's favorite shot caller, Mr. Warchamp 7. Like,
That's me. What's up? Let's go.
Goat shot caller. That's true. Today, I would just like to do this opportunity real quick. Warchamp, if you could please step out in front with me. I think we're going to take this opportunity now to receive our awards here.
Our accolades.
Our accolades. I'm gonna edit in some triumphant horn music here. As we in the award for the most right in predicting the exact storyline of Dawntrail goes to
Tito and Warchamp 7. Congratulations.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I'm so proud of them.
Oh my gosh. After you, sir. Warchamp, after you, please. You speech.
They did it.
I would just like to thank my teammate here in lore, Tito.
Humble.
It would not have been possible without him for us to come to this conclusion of exactly where this story was going to go. But I'm very proud of what we accomplished together, and I look forward to doing it for the next 4 patches.
It will be easier. So, real quick, before we do anything else, all right, here we go. This is your spoiler warning for Dawntrail. The embargo is up, so this is a courtesy.
We're talking about all of it.
Going once, going twice. Channing Tatum is Deadpool in the new is fucking Gambit in the new Deadpool movie. Going once, going twice. Quick, someone throw out another spoiler.
Oh, I'm about to make a name for myself here.
Ooh, it's the beginning of his delivery. Ooh, oh my god, no name. Oh shit. Oh god. I'm gonna throw out a spoiler for the new Sonic movie that's not out at the time of the recording, but let's say that it is. Amy's in it. Okay.
You just go to the hard read.
Yeah, I'm just doing the hard read here that Amy's in the new movie.
Amy said it.
It's time for Amy's gonna show up at the end, and she's gonna like fucking I don't know, like Sonic is gonna be chilling with like Knuckles and Tails, and they're just gonna be like hanging out, and Sonic is going to like hear like you're gonna hear like ominous music, and then like Amy's gonna knock down the door and be like Sonic, everyone's gonna be like what? And then it's gonna hard cut.
Can I go for a harder read on this?
Yeah.
So like we're getting Sonic 3 movie.
Sure.
We're getting Shadow, right?
Sure.
So we're going into the Shadow stuff. And obviously everyone's like understanding of Shadow is Sonic Adventure 2.
Right.
But a big part of Sonic Adventure 2 is, you know, the part that's kind of been dealt with a little bit, which is Chaos, which we haven't seen yet. So I'm thinking we're not going to get Amy revealed at the end. We're going to get Team Chaos. We're going to get like Vector, Charmy, and SBO who will show up at the end. We're going to get the Sonic Heroes plot line for Sonic 4, and we're going to deal with Chaos. And then at the end of that, if anybody has played Sonic Heroes, then we're going to get the Metal Sonic teaser.
So you're going 2 movies in advance?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
The next skipping all of that. We're getting Silver. Silver at the end of Sonic.
No,
movie.
Absolutely not.
The next Mario movie is going to be the big bad's going to be the next big bad's going to be Wario, and Wario's going to be voiced by Danny DeVito.
Oh. No.
I just
who is Danny DeVito going to voice in Dawntrail patch 7.2?
I hope it's a new Lalafell. He has to voice a Lalafell.
It's got to be a
Lalafell. It's got to be a Lalafell.
Absolutely.
And he's gonna voice a Lalafell that
it's the Arcadian guest announcer.
Yeah. No, he's the chancellor of the fucking Arcadian.
Oh, true.
He's the head guy. He's the head nerd.
They call me the trash man.
I'm the president. Holy shit. Well, let's talk about Dawntrail. Okay, so I guess we'll start with general thoughts. Out of 10, we'll start Viram. Overall, let's ixnay the patches. We're in one. We have one set of patches, but you know it's like not really patches, so it's because it's just like raid stuff. Baby patches.
Yeah.
But just how do we feel about 7.0?
Out of 10?
Out of 10.
I'll give an 8.5. I liked it a lot.
Okay. Warchamp.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what would I give Shadowbringers? Because I feel like my score is in relation to that, and I feel like I would give Shadowbringers like a 9 or a 10. So I want to say like an 8 for Dawntrail.
Yep, I'm right there with you, Mike.
Probably gonna go a little lower. Honestly, like it's probably, but not too much lower, like a 7.5. And that's mostly on my general opinion about the first half of MSQ.
Oh, we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah,
that shit.
So that's kind of where that's what really drug my score down a little bit.
That shit, dookie butter. It is a slog though. The first like going through. I get it. There's some parts of it that are cool, but I don't know about you guys, but like I was like dragging feet up until like trial. No, not the trial. The dungeon, the first dungeon, whichever one it is.
I actually quite liked all of it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like, and we kind of talked about this on your stream, I think, Tito, a little while back. Of just like, that's kind of to be expected with this.
Yeah.
Because like we're starting fresh. We're starting with nothing. It's gonna be a slow start.
Yeah. I think more. I was more in terms of like, maybe not narratively, because narratively it wasn't that much of a drag. But I'm talking about the actual like what you're literally doing. Like I just felt like the actual quests could have been a little bit more engaging. Than me, because once you go into like the trials and you're traveling around everywhere, then it starts to pick up kind of. I feel like because then you're just like exploring and you're finding aether currents and you're doing a bunch of bullshit. Like then it's fine. You're hanging out with alpacas, but like when you're just in Tuliala, then like I don't know.
They hit you with quite a lot of the exposition and the proper nouns of words that are difficult to read if English is your first language or you don't know the language that it's like clearly inspired from. And it's quite heavy on that for a lot. For me, I found that I enjoyed the early game because I felt like it actually blended its world building and narrative decently well, because sometimes I feel like, you're going through a story and it tries to focus on its world building so much that it just brings the narrative itself to a standstill. But I think they tied them well together because of the whole trial was just kind of, they needed to learn about the places they were in, and as a result, the world building, in order to conquer the trials that they had to do.
I think that's kind of like my big problem is that like I wanted everything, I guess, and that's kind of like that's a me problem, big skill issue right there. But I like from a narrative, I really enjoyed what they did, right? Like with you see Wuk Lamat go from a character who's just like, I know everything about this place, and then immediately goes like, I don't know shit, and she learns everything, and that's a really good way to like world build too, because now you're learning right next to her and everything. Because yeah, you are just here for the ride. You're no longer the main character, at least in this situation. But yeah, like the in between quests is kind of what drug on for me, right? So like I enjoyed the cutscenes, I enjoyed what they did, I liked listening to Rawl's lore, but like the actual meat of the first half of the quests, it was a slog to absolutely go through. Up until like trial 1, then it picked up, and then it drug again, and then right when the whole Alexandria stuff happened, it was go time, and I was like, okay, now I'm getting back into the like Shadowbringers Endwalker kind of urgency. And I think that's probably where I'm kind of getting where everything, like I'm wanting everything, because I missed that, and I didn't take an opportunity to like fix to look at the narrative from like the bigger picture. But I do really enjoy like narratively the first half. Action wise is kind of where I'm hung up.
Yeah, and I think that's where like a lot of people were kind of feeling, and it's also something that we knew going into this was going to happen, because like this, like it's a problem that I think every MMO has faced. Like WoW has obviously had this problem as well, of just like you just can't keep increasing the stakes, forever.
Yeah,
You can't keep going up and up and up and more at stake and more. Like we went to space and fought like the closest thing to God
right.
that could have manifested itself, and then the Alliance Raid series, we literally fought God, all 12 of them, like
all of them.
Yeah, you can only come down from that in terms of like stakes and excitement and whatever. And so I agree that it was a little bit of a slog to kind of go through, and there was definitely a little bit of like, proper noun fire hosing happening. And at the time, there was like, I was definitely forgetting names of stuff as I was going through. Like I wasn't even keeping like Bakool Ja Ja and Zoral Ja Ja?
Zoral Ja Ja.
Zoral Ja, only one, right? Because he's only
Zoral
one
Ja,
headed.
yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm barely keeping those straight now, and at the time I was going through the story, not at all, like even a little bit. But now it's like I can keep like Tuliolal straight, I can keep all the zones straight, like Shalawani, like I've got it all now. But like going through, it is just kind of just like, here's everything, take all this information, it's all new, it's a brand new place, experience it, enjoy it. And it's like, whoa, slow down just a little bit, but also please speed up, there's not a lot happening outside of this like world building.
Going back to your point about like the literal stakes between like these expansions, one of the best things that I watched, and I caught it right before Dawntrail came out, and I'm really glad I did, was like a big perspective video on the difference between like what was it? Just the different kinds of stakes, like universal stakes versus personal stakes, right? So it's just like you see Endwalker, the literal end of the universe is here. You're fighting every god that you've ever been introduced to. Now it's time to just be a little personal, and it's not going to seem as big, but it's pretty big. And I was like, you know what? That makes sense. And so that tempered, and like obviously the patches set up the story really well too. Like you knew going in that you're going to help Wuk Lamat do all of her stuff here, and you're not going to like fight this world-ending threat, hopefully, at least not at first glance. So, but between the last Endwalker patches and that video really kind of helped me hone in expectations as to what I was walking into. And that personally, that helped a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But as for like zones and stuff, I know them by area. By name, I struggle a little bit.
Cowboy Land.
Yeah, Cowboy Land.
Texas.
I do Texas. I know Texas a lot because I spent a lot of
Texas
my first
starring Will Smith and Owen Wilson.
True. I spent a lot of the first couple weeks looking for that snake fate, man. Golly, I spent so much time there.
I love the meme of like everybody just in their FF15 cars, just like sitting there waiting. Yeah, in the parking lot, like at a drive-in movie, just like waiting for the fate.
There's two memes. It's always the parking lot, and when is the fate spawn? 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. It's always 5 minutes.
I learned the 5 minute meme back in Endwalker waiting for Chi. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I came into this expansion and I was waiting for the snake and I was just like, does anyone know like general window? Because like I was asking the real question of just like when was the last spawn? Because there's a window to it.
Right.
For people who don't know how like the world boss stuff works, it's like it can only spawn like once every 3 days or whatever, but it's like a 48-hour window that starts after that. So you have to go through like a 72-hour period after it dies. And then after that, there's a 48-hour window where it becomes increasingly more likely that it spawns whenever like the relevant quests are killed or whatever. So I went in there asking for like, where are we at in the window? Like, are we like 25 hours into the 48-hour window? And I got hit with the 5 minutes. I'm just like, you know what? That's on me. I deserve that one.
Yeah.
I did that to myself.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that I like certain, like, I'm not going to lie. I don't think I've been back to Zone 3 since MSQ. Like, you go to Solution 9 a lot, obviously. You're in Tulial some. You're in Cowboy Land, kind of, if you're gathering. And you're in Heritage Found for gathering as well. But, like, unless I'm specifically gathering, like, unless the Beast Tribes are there, which I assume one of them will be, actually. Like, I think one of them is the dwarf guys, right? Probably the little cobalt guys, the
goblins.
The goblins, right? Goblins are probably the crafters, right? Gatherers, I would probably say are the elephant people, or not the elephant people, the bird people, birds, and then I would assume battle tribals. Yeah, or the Mamulja, which are in Zone 3. So, like, unless that's the case, I'm not fucking going back there into that jungle, man. That map kind of blows. Like, it looks cool, but, like, the actual layout of the map, I don't know. I don't know if I like it.
You're talking about
the big divide.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Yoctel, yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I love the second half of that zone, the
jungle
underground forest.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, I love that area.
Yeah. That place.
That's like my main reason to ever go back there.
If you want to get really hard into fishing, there's actually a really good collector fish that spawns in that area. If you get it on the proper window, you can get like 1,000 oranges out of that on a large.
Really?
Yeah. Ask me if I've caught it. No.
Okay.
Okay. No.
I had a hunch.
Yeah, I could have guessed. Well, I guess we should also address one of the main talking points coming out of Dawntrail. All right, man. Let's talk about Wuk Lamat and what people don't get. Like, let's talk about what people don't get. I'm going to say this on episode Dose 2. Dude. In Korean. I think it's Du. You, the Warrior of Light, is not the main character of Final Fantasy XIV Online.
Oh.
You are not the main character. That is not your job. You are you are a protagonist.
You are a main character, yes.
Yes, but you are not the main character. because the main character of Dawntrail is Wuk Lamat. And if it's not Wuk Lamat, it's low-key Kryl. Like, it's not you. You're like third or fourth.
You know exactly when you can tell the most that you are no longer the main character of Dawntrail? That you are not? Remember that duty where
where you
play as Wuk Lamat?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're fighting Bakool Ja Ja?
And you just sit back, the warrior sits back and watches.
If you chill there, and you rotate your camera, you're right there. You're
right
side.
there. You're like, woo!
Yep. That's right there. That duty is the single greatest point that tells it is a good duty.
The duties was on fire, by the way. Like all of them slap. All of them.
You are not the main character of this expansion. It's not you.
But like, here's the thing: are you the main character of any expansion? Like, really? Like, maybe Endwalker.
I think Endwalker the most. Endwalker and Shadowbringers the most.
I can't think of who else it would be in Endwalker.
No, I think it's you in Endwalker. I don't even think it's you in Shadowbringers. I think it's Graha.
I mean,
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
Graha in Shadowbringers, Lys in Stormblood.
Yep.
Alphino in Heaven's Ward.
Yep.
I guess you're the main character in ARR as well.
Sure.
But it's ARR. Who cares?
Yeah, who cares? Right. But like most of the time, you're just not the main. You're not the main character, man. You're not the guy. But like you're the guy.
You're just the guy that does stuff.
Yeah, but like but the thing is, like, that's how the writing is. Like, you are called the shepherd of the star.
Yeah.
They tell you immediately your job is not to be this guy. Like, it's also in the kind of like the fundamental belief of how the Scions are run. They are not here for accolades or glory. They are here to save the world and then fuck off. Like, and that's it. Like,
even if you take your character from the perspective, like you are, like how Asa worked as a character, as what he just did. He just went around. He's like, I'm just going to explore. I'll help people along the way, but most of the time, I'm just going to be fucking doing what I want. That wasn't the main character.
You don't even know what he looks like.
Nope. Well, that's by design, and I think we should stay that way. But
no, I agree. But what I'm saying is, like, that's a choice that they made to show you it's not about Asm either.
Right.
Like, and you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and so, it comes to understand by extension, it's not about you. So but people like to get into their head about this, and main character syndrome really takes over. And people get mad. It's weird.
Go ahead, Warjump.
I was like, this brings up a bit of an interesting topic, but I'm not sure. Like, does anyone else here play WoW at all?
Mike did. Or, Mike did a lot.
Understand the lore, like what's going on over there, like
not
the story.
Remotely.
Well, not, but like how the story plays out there. Like compared to FF14, like FF14, like we're saying, like you are one of the main characters, and in WoW, it's kind of like you are the main character, but also like not really as much in a narrative way, because like so much of the lore in WoW is kind of carried forward by like the named NPCs. Like they're the stars of the show, and like you are the quote unquote main character because you are just this like fucking aberration hulking monstrosity as far as like just being able to kill shit goes.
Right.
But you are not. You are more of like a plot piece for propelling the story forward.
Sure.
So like it's a little bit of a different way of storytelling, and I'm not saying either is better. It's a little bit relevant because at the time of recording, War Within is around the corner, and I used to be like a big Warcraft 3 guy, and the stuff they're doing with that is actually very exciting, so I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, it's a very big difference in terms of how the narrative is presented, and I think some people, like, because of how Endwalker and Shadowbringers like played out, they might have just started playing at that point in the story, right? And so they might have just like expected like, oh, that's like it's that kind of idea where like I'm just this superhuman thing with like the Ek or whatever, and I can fuck shit up, and this story is about me because you go into Shadowbringers like I'm gonna save the world, and like people who understand 14 lore understand that actually Graha's the main character there. He's the one like making shit happen. But if you don't really like understand his background, and like have done like the side quests that they later made mandatory to like understand his character and understand, oh, actually, yeah, he's the guy here. I can absolutely understand how someone goes into like Shadowbringers and Walker and is just like, no, this like I'm the hero. I'm doing everything. These are my allies. And then you get reset in Dawntrail where it's just like, no, you are one of the main characters.
You are the ally.
You are an equal with the rest of the Scions with different strengths and different weaknesses.
Right.
Because that is the whole thing with the Scions is that they all have different strengths that they play to.
Correct. And the thing too with that is in and of itself, the fact that out of all of the Scions, your like canonical like superpower is your versatility, is your ability to go anywhere and be anything. That is what makes you different than everybody else, because you're not the smartest. You're not even top 3. You're nowhere near. You're arguably not the strongest. Like in terms of just raw combat prowess, because you could definitely make the argument that like obviously probably maybe Y'shtola, but like Lestinian, Graha. Like,
I still think had Moonbrita lived, she'd have fucked shit up.
Yeah. Like
she would be fucking shit up right now.
Yeah, like you are not the most charismatic out of all of them, because Thancred is right there. It's not you are not the most well connected, because the twins and Kryl are there. Like you are like it's your superpower, the reason why you fit in this group, because and the reason why they all, in a lot of instances, which is what you're saying, Warchamp, why someone could see that way, is because they all look to you, because the thing that you have as a Wool, as a character, is that you have that wanderlust, and that you are probably the bravest. You are the initiator of things more often than not, and your superpower is the ability to go into any situation and be like, yep, I'm good here. I can do the thing here pretty well. Where it's like you're not gonna see you're not gonna put Alize into like a mental challenge where she's gonna be like, yeah, I'm so good or whatever. But you're also not gonna put Alphino into like a very, very violent combat 1v1 with Xenos. Like you're just not gonna do that.
Yeah. You are the headstrong, get stuff done personality. You are willing to like charge in and do whatever needs to be done, and the story even like kind of prompts you like to kind of state your motivations or whatever at times, of just like, why do you do this? And it's just like to explore the world, and it's like, or to protect my friends, and it's like they give you the opportunity to kind of like put your own personality on it, but at the end of the day, the whole idea is what you're saying, like you are the go out and do it. You are there to go get stuff done.
I think it's also quite funny that I just remembered because of you mentioning the not being the smartest. Like I'm pretty sure the Garleans essentially view you kind of like how everyone else views Xenos. They kind of just view you as some murdering, muscle-bound, like behemoth rather than like a person.
You ever play it when you're describing it like that, like how with this is going to be like a really off, like out of tangential cut, but like Halo, how the Covenant view Chief like a demon.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
That's probably
evolution. Like that's like the WoW. Like that's how the WoW character is. It's like you are just this like fucking monstrous beefcake that can just destroy fucking anything, including gods and like celestial entities and like whatever have you. Like you're terrifying.
Yeah.
And like that's how the Garleans view you. That's how like Xenos is meant to be viewed. But in the greater context of the story, that's not what we are.
And that's the thing too. And now we're gonna have a whole episode on Xenos, by the way. We already decided, because there's a lot of mixed feelings about that character, especially on this show. Even on this podcast, there's mixed episodes.
I'm so excited.
And so we will be having episodes of this. But getting back so all of that within context, is Wuk Lamat a good character? Because I think she is. I really think she is, and I also think that like like low key, like Thor's brother, low key. Koana steals the show a lot in this expansion in terms of like becoming the person, like because you expect him to be like when he's presented as this uber intelligent, snobby narcissist. That's how he's presented. But you quickly realize, like almost immediately, nope, that's not what this is. He is someone who is not only intelligent, but he is wise. And that is something that is such like a cool flip, because you go into it and they present it as all these 4 factions, everybody against everybody. What the fuck is gonna go? And then you're like, no, actually, like if Koana won this thing, I'd be fine. Like I would have been like, yeah, that works for me. Like sure. He can be the Dawn Father. That works. Or not the Dawn Father, the fucking
the head of reason.
Yes.
Yeah. My only problem, I think, with Koana wasn't with the character himself, but how like Dawntrail was kind of marketed, where it's just like you're going to be going up against some of your friends now. You're not all on the same team, but it turns out you're on the same team the whole time.
Yeah, it wasn't. That was crazy, eh, Tito?
Yeah, it's almost like
yeah,
it's like we said that. Holy shit!
And so, and I kind of figured that was going to happen. I was like, yeah, they're not going to make you fight Thancred and Urianger, but I was like, but what if they did? That'd be kind of cool. Like if there was like an actual scrap before Koana comes to that epiphany where he's just like, oh shit, maybe I'm not him.
Counterpoint, the scene where he pulls the tablet out of his back pocket, yeets it into the sky, and then
that was the coolest scene in the expansion.
The coolest scene in the fucking game.
That is the coolest scene.
Second coolest. The coolest
coolest
one was when Ritra showed up.
I would give
think
that.
was cooler.
I would give that the hypest moment. But I think there's also a little bit of nostalgia factor there when that Endwalker riff kicks in and you see and it cuts to him flying in. Like that was a sick ass moment. I might
weird nostalgia for me because I played that part of the game like a year ago.
Yeah. No, yeah. When I saw, I had to mute myself because when I saw Vitra showed up, I was just screaming. I was like, "Yes, let's go, woo!" But I also had a similar reaction when Koana shot the shit out of his tablet, and I was like, "Oh shit, look at him go!"
Vitra is.
I'm not a contestant anymore. Now what?
Yeah. Now I can do whatever the fuck I want, idiot.
I was like, "Yes!"
But that's the thing too. That thing is, it's like that scene is so cool because it shows you. Like, sometimes I get frustrated sometimes with the Final Fantasy XIV writing, but it's things like that where I'm like, that's why this game is good as shit. Like, that's writing is really... Because he shows, hey, that's the difference between being smart and being wise. And he's both. And that's very dangerous because he goes, oh, you don't want me to help? Interesting. There's a loophole here. What if I wasn't here?
I have a little bit of a take. I don't think it's a hot take, but I think I might also blow your mind a little bit here, Tito. And I
sure.
guess I'll pose this question to the entire podcast of between Wuk Lamat and Koana, which of the two did you find like more personally relatable?
Personally relatable, I probably would say Koana, probably.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Tough because it's like a tie, or because neither?
Probably closer to it's a tie.
For me, it's closer to neither. I don't really see myself in either of them. I enjoy both of them a lot, but I wouldn't really find myself relating to them.
Yeah, like it's kind of a bit of a struggle. Like I can see, I can and I can't. Right? I would like. There's some times where I'm like, oh yeah, I'd have done that. Like that'd been that's really cool. Like I can relate, and then there's a fair decent amount, like probably an equal amount, where I'd be like, I don't know if I'd have done it that way, but it's working out.
Mm-hmm. So here's my take, and maybe this will be a revelation for some folks here or some folks listening. But if you think that Koana is a well-written character or you think Wuk Lamat is a well-written character, then I pose it that you probably find that one more relatable, and that is part of why. I think it is easy to look at Koana and look at the way he handles situations and to see how his flaws get called out and how he develops as a character and learns those things and how to compensate for them and has that growth. I think it is easier to see that as a well-written character if you find him more relatable. And so I think I can look at Wuk Lamat as a character and see that I do not have those same qualities as her. You know, there's a little bit of like naivete to her character of just like having good intentions and wanting to do what's right and, you know, wanting to be able to, you know, save everyone and protect everyone, but not really having the means or the understanding to actually accomplish those goals. To see her progress throughout the story and come to learn those things and have us help both her and Koana like understand those flaws and discover them and realize like, oh, it's not all just about being smart. It's not all just about, you know, wanting to fix everything and wanting to make everybody happy and protect everyone. There's another, you know, factor to it. There's another piece of the puzzle that they're missing, and that's why they complement each other in the end and why they both become Dawn Servant together, because they are those two different halves. And so I think if you are someone who relates to Koana very heavily, you're going to see his character as, you know, deeper and more interesting because you are going to see a lot of those, you know, those same flaws and those same like quirks, whatever, that you probably relate to in some way, and that you have either discovered or like are discovering or like are going through the process of understanding those things. And I can look at Wuk Lamat and see those factors and be like, this is a well-written character. I can't really relate to it, but I can see that progression and that character development that's happening. And I think there's a lot of people that go through the story and they just, you know, they just see Wuk Lamat like stumbling through these things and like not understanding, and like eventually she gets to the point where she does start to see that there are these other things that has to be taken into consideration.
Right. I mean, I agree with that. I do think Wuk Lamat is, I mean, I make the assertion that both of them are fairly well written overall. Like, you could definitely make the assertion that if pacing aside, because I do think the difference between the story and the narrative as a whole, between like the difference between Shadowbringers and this and Dawntrail is pacing. I think Shadowbringers is better paced. And I think, but I don't think the writing is significantly better. I think the writing of both is very good. I think that the pacing of Dawntrail, or sorry, of Shadowbringers kind of makes it a lot easier to of a play. But like, there's a lot of really good writing and character development in here. Like there is this Wuk Lamat being like this, like learning the lesson of being a leader is not, you don't like loving your people will not always fix it. That's not what that is. You have to make very difficult decisions to be a leader. And you have to kind of, at times, like they kind of meet in the middle where it's like, Wuk Lamat is so focused on the people as a people that she's so focused on the individual person. So she has a bunch of like emotion and a bunch of like care and love that kind of clouds her judgment, where Koana is completely different, where he sees the problem and he forgets that they're people. Like, and so it's that thing of, I truly think that both of them are fairly well written. But I do see how you might be more receptive to them based off which one you relate to, unless you're a psychopath and you're like, yeah, man, like fucking Koana Ja Ja was right. Like Koana Ja Ja was fucking right. Like, unless you're that psycho, like, which even he kind of has a point, low key, but like he's just insane. So he's just off the goop pack.
I saw the funniest thing the other day that actually referenced the whole like fight above Tuliyola thing, where it's just like, how did Koana Ja Ja just assume he was going to take over the entire world when one great worm takes his ass down? Just bodies his whole army. He's like, there's at least 4 more. Like,
that's true. That's true. Do we like because I mean, we're gonna circle back to Wuk Lamat because we're gonna talk about, you know, kind of the ending and but Koana Ja as an antagonist, did that feel sad? Like, he's not the main antagonist, right? Obviously, the real. I mean, you could call Sphene the main villain of the, but is she? Is she though?
I think it was kind of like it was a really good foil to Wuk Lamat and Koana, joint heroes to joint villains kind of thing.
Yeah.
Sphene played a really neat part where she was just like, "I'm on your side," and then like you get to Heritage Found, she's like, "Psych," and that was, or no, the Living Memory. That's what it's called. You get there, and she's, "Well, I lied," and but you have.
She is a lying ass bitch. She did lie like shit. Frame 1.
She did. She lied immediately.
That was crazy. I just realized that she definitely.
Every breath she took was a lie.
The first thing she said was a fucking lie, oh lying ass bitch.
Yes.
God,
but
damn.
I think it was a pretty good foil moment. I like, was he the strongest villain of the series? No. Not by a long shot.
Did he feel like Diet Xenos to anybody else?
Like which one? Like Endwalker or Stormblood?
Endwalker.
Then no. Like he was more akin to, if we're comparing it strictly to Xenos, he's more akin to Stormblood Xenos than anything.
Yeah, but like Xenos' motivations were just like, I just want to fight stuff.
Yeah.
Zoral Ja had like a goal. He had an intent.
He just wanted the world domination kind of thing for the sake of having no more war. But like if we're comparing it strictly to Xenoses, like then it's probably closer to Stormblood and the whole like singular goal thing. But that isn't, no, it's not a 1-to-1, not by any means.
I did hear that a lot. He was like, "It's just Diet Xenos," and I'm like, "Is he though?"
No, I don't.
Because
so.
the thing is with Xenos, I never was like, I kind of see your point. Like I never had that thought. Like
because he didn't have a point.
Yeah,
that is the point.
Yeah,
he was a senseless like murderer.
Yeah,
his whole character was, there is no rhyme or reason behind him doing this except that he just wants to fight shit.
Endwalker, like that's why I was really partial to Endwalker Xenos, because like it's a little more nuanced in there, and like of course we're gonna have like a whole episode on this, and I'll bring it up here and in there, but it's really interesting when you think about his like talking with Julius and like the whole Fields of Garlemald, where he finds the answer to Medion's question before you even meet Medion. Because Medion's trying to find the whole meaning of life, and he says, you have to figure that out for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and it's really funny that he's just like, I found the solution to this whole expansion right now by just being a prick.
Yeah, that's true. Going back to kind of gameplay or anything, were there any, because I know we talked a lot about narrative, and I'm sure that's, a majority are going to be of our conversation, but like, did anybody, I don't know how to feel quite yet about the actual dungeons and trials. I think the trials overall are pretty good, to be honest. The dungeons, I'm not super sure on. They don't feel very satisfying to me, to be honest.
Oh no, I completely disagree.
Yeah, go ahead.
I completely disagree. I think these are the best dungeons. And just generally the instance content, I think, is just the best that we've had across potentially any expansion.
In terms of
engagement and challenge and just overall fun, I would take these over any other expansion.
I will agree with challenge.
Yeah,
for sure.
For sure. They're better to play. They're good to play.
Rolling, if we're all of the dungeons, or if we're talking about just story, I keep whiffing them in any roulettes, but except expert, where I tend to get Alexandria a lot, and I get Alexandria
all the fucking time.
Yeah,
Jesus fucking Christ.
I have actually like grown more, I guess, receptive of that dungeon. I start pointing it out or looking at it, and I'm like, man, this is actually like even as one of those end of story dungeons, like Amarat-esque dungeons, it's like, this is actually pretty good. I do like how this is structured for all of that. as for the rest of them, like I can't. The first one I really enjoyed, if not for the only part being where like Thancred and Urianger just throw a rock at you and they're like, "Hey, friend."
That was pretty funny. That was pretty funny. They trolled the shit out of us. Like that was
They
good.
do.
I like that.
Vanguard's really fun. That's just music. That's entirely music. I think the music really carries this expansion a lot. Like it really gets you in that dungeon mood.
I'm interested to see is it Virum, is it just like do you just find them better to play, or do you think narratively they also are really, really up there? I'm curious. Like,
Predominantly the former, but that's mainly what I weigh
yeah.
when I go through the dungeons, because like the first time I play through a dungeon, sure the narrative stuff is there, but since I always do my like daily roulettes and I tend to go through these dungeons again and again and again, I
You just kind of forget that part.
Yeah, and like I'll enjoy the overall atmosphere of a dungeon. Like when there's kind of specific points that help make it a little bit more memorable, like when in Pagalfan, for instance, when you're riding on the back of the dragons to get to the final area, or I don't know, like actually bringing up the example of Alexandria, I think you get that point where the ship blows up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then it's like, maybe meet again, Your Highness. I was like that bit. But for the
That's a
most
good
part, yeah, the gameplay.
That's where she dies, right there. That's where she's dead, right there. Which is crazy, by the way. They just throw that in the middle of the dungeon. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Well, they want to see if you're paying attention. You gotta pay attention.
No, but I mean, I get that. I do think though, like for example, right there, I did notice I did there more so than in any other expansion. Have I played a regular dungeon and went, that's a Savage mechanic. That's a mechanic that you wouldn't see unless you were doing Savage. Like, it is the baby version of it, but that right there, that's a Savage mechanic. Like, I said that several times.
A few times,
A few times. And then there have been instances where, like the only other time where I was like, damn, this dungeon is hard, not because of the fact that it just does a bunch of damage or the pulls are big as shit for no reason. But it's like, no, like the mechanics here are actually like the only other time I felt like that way was like maybe in Dead Ends. Like when I'm playing Dead Ends, every dungeon boss, I'm like, I have to remember how to do this, otherwise I will die.
Right. Yeah.
But then I'm like, okay, every other dungeon, I'm like, I can AFK, it doesn't matter. I can do these mechanics or not. I'm gonna be fine. But like when I do something like, for example, if I do Sabatender, right? Or whatever the shit's called.
So fun.
Oh, the barrel tender from Tender Valley.
Yeah.
That
the Giga
shit,
Tender.
The Giga.
bro, that dungeon is fire. Like that dungeon
really
is great. Or you fight the first boss in fucking the haunted house one.
So the bro, yeah.
Yeah, in Burrow.
I fucking hate that boss.
And it literally is being like, hey, by the way, this first boss. You want to. Hey, this is literally the second tier of the raid, so you might want to learn this mechanic right now. Like it's like
figure this shit out.
Like figure this shit out right now because we're gonna throw this to you in the raid in about 2 weeks. Like that shit is fire to me. Like that's great. I was more speaking towards of like when I played through a lot of these dungeons, playing through them, I personally, this is just me, felt like my eyes kind of glazed over in a lot of the beginning dungeons other than the mechanics. Like the only really interesting parts I found that were like, wow, that's really cool that they did that or whatever, were like whatever dungeon you run where you're getting trolled by Thancred and you're Yanja the whole time. Like that dungeon's fun.
I think that's the first one. Yeah,
that's the first one.
Other than that, I'm like, unless you get to the experts. The experts are fun.
So what would everybody's favorite dungeon of this expansion be?
Desert.
Either the Sky Deep, Cenote, or Alexandria. One of those two.
I need the list in front of me because I can't do recall.
Oh, true.
I've actually got the list. You got Ihyu, Katumu, which is the first one. War Cause of More, the Sky Deep, Cenote, Vanguard, Origenics, Alexandria, Tender Valley, and the Stray Bar of Dead Walk.
I forgot about Vanguard. Vanguard is, but the thing is,
Got the best clothes in the expansion.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Vanguard is good just because of what you roll from there.
It's true.
Like the dungeon is not. Vanguard's not good, man. like Vanguard's. I don't think Vanguard.
That one's definitely one of your narrative dungeons.
Yeah, that just felt
because
like I was just walking around.
That's your assault on the bubble. That's like, oh shit, we got to get in there, and like Vanguard's your in. I like that's one of the dungeons I really enjoy for like a narrative perspective. I think for like my favorite for this, it's a toss-up between, and I know I asked the question and now I'm copping out by giving two answers, between either like Tender Valley or Slitherborough, like the optionals.
Yes, the experts. I think the experts are as low-key was the case in Dawntrail or in Endwalker, the experts might be the best dungeons. Low-key.
Yeah, like if we're including the extras, I don't think I can answer anything other than Tender Valley.
It's true. Yeah.
Just because that whole dungeon is fun. Those bosses are some of the most creative.
They're mad goofy.
And I agree with everything like Tito was saying about a lot of the mechanics. Like I feel like they ramped up the difficulty a little bit finally, which is good.
Yeah. I do kind of wish that second boss did a bit more, because like you've seen all of its attacks by its like second attack.
Yeah.
In Tender Valley, you mean the bomb guy?
The bomb.
Yeah. But it goes in the square hole.
That's a good. That's a good
that's
line.
that's all my friends and I were saying that whole fight is the part that goes in the square hole.
Wait, what?
But I think Tender Valley definitely gets like my favorite just overall. Narratively, out of the non-extras, yeah, I don't know. I like maybe I give it to Alexandria, but that feels like a bit of a cop-out because that's like the whole point of that dungeon is it's supposed to be like a very major narrative explanation one. So like, or
I think that's fine.
Or I was also really good in my opinion.
I think that's a good answer. Like if you like it because like if that's the point and you like it because of like its narrative perspective, like then it did what it was supposed to do.
Yeah, exactly. It met its goals it set out to like accomplish for sure.
And I would agree. Like from a narrative perspective, it's either Alexandria or a Vanguard. Vanguard for the sheer fact of like that's when you know shit's ramping up, and then or Alexandria for the fact that it's like the end all be all story dungeon of this expansion. Like that's where you know like the story is at its crux. It's where you're going.
I will say though that what you felt about the dungeons is exactly how I feel about the trials. I think the trials in this expansion are fire.
That's sick.
Fire. I think they're all good. All of them are good.
Dude, once I got to Valle Garmanda for the first time, I was like, oh, this is so cool. This is so cool. The music, just the constantly changing elements and the different phases, and it's like it feels like we're fighting another primal, except this one is like multiple primals in one.
A bird.
Is the bird.
It is the bird.
The bird.
I do think, and this might be a hot take. I'll see what you guys say. I think Zarulja is a top 5 trial. I really think it's that good. The pacing of that trial is some of the best pacing you're gonna see in the whole game. Of like the form switch and then how crazy it goes from like it's a trial that goes from 9 to 10 and then shows you what 11 is and stays there the whole time.
You ever taken a good look at his model in second form?
No, why?
Yes.
So he is.
He's got like 2 of everything.
He is a 2-headed Mamulja that's missing the reason head.
That's fire.
Mm.
That's crazy.
So, I didn't notice that on the first try, but it was like one of the first things on Twitter I saw right after I had done it, and I was like, "Wait, that's so good."
That's fire.
He's got like 4 eyes as well.
Yeah,
I noticed.
He goes from 2 swords to 4 swords. He gets to 2 head, but the second head is like it's just like false, and he's got like quad eyes. Yeah, he like doubles up on everything, but in a way that's like not actually like does anything.
Yeah,
you know, it's really cool. Yeah, I think like gameplay wise, it's weird too that I'm going to say this because I think a lot of people leading up to Dawntrail were kind of like frustrated that, the like gameplay was getting a little bit stale as far as like job design goes. And they've said they're going to be like taking a look at, jobs in the coming patches and expansions, which is great. But I also think that like gameplay wise, the game is in the best state it's ever been in.
I agree.
Yeah.
Despite like the acknowledged flaws of the jobs right now.
I agree. I mean, I was talking to Mike. I started playing the new Monk. The new Monk is super fun.
I gotta get there.
The new Monk is super fun. Look at all my stickers.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad you said that. So now I'm so excited.
The Monk is and the thing is, I'm saying that completely 100% being transparent. I don't know the rotation. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. I don't know my opener. Don't ask me. But it is very fun.
I had a lot of fun with pre-Dawntrail Monk. Like, how crazy I went getting that from 1 to 90. But yeah. Here you say that. That's exciting. I gotta actually get back in the Monk now.
I mean, it's fun. It also helps that I'm using the Power Ranger fit, so that helps.
Oh, that's true. It's all about glam.
It is all about glam. But actually, that's a good transition to jobs. Speaking of jobs, I'm actually leveling Viper now. Has anyone leveled or played Viper? Or let's start with Viper.
I unlocked it. That's about it.
Okay.
I did like the intro quest that teach the job, and that's it.
Okay.
I think I'm like 84.
I had one more point.
Oh yeah, go.
About dungeons.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because you were saying like they've introduced like savage mechanics to some of them now, and it's great that we're getting real mechanics now in like normal content, a little bit more forgiving. There are a number of times through Dawntrail where like got to a boss for the first time and our shit got wiped like multiple times. Like Barrel Tender fucked me and my friends up. The first boss in Alexandria, the monster, like the cyberspace like tentacle monster thing.
The tentacles, yeah.
That fucker killed us like 3 or 4 times. Like we wiped multiple times to that, and that is fun. That's not a bad thing. I think a lot of people like they wipe and they just like feel bad and they feel like failures, and like I feel like I saw like a TikTok or something like explaining this kind of phenomenon in like the context of Dark Souls and why like people don't like Souls-like games, because like failing is part of the experience, and a lot of games that like isn't. Like people don't want to feel like they don't know what they're doing. They don't want to feel like they're lost and confused and don't have the answers or everything. Like they just want to press buttons and like win. But I think good designed content, it should kill your ass the first time, because if it doesn't, it's not like interesting. There's no depth to it if you can just like look at it and solve it immediately.
The most fun on literally playing Final Fantasy XIV I've ever had was progging P1.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, like progging P1 with 8 people, literally wiping. We did not finish that fight. It took us like 3 days, I think. But it was so fun doing that. And because so often in this game, I mean, we're going to have a whole episode about skill in Final Fantasy XIV, because Warchap and I I think a lot of us have a very similar opinion about how the game doesn't teach you how to play. And
which is why these like mechanics are great now.
Yes, correct. Like knowing, especially like me, right? I main tank, I main gunbreaker, right? So often, what I literally do in normal content doesn't matter. Like I don't have to like there's like I don't really, as long as I'm pulling, but like I could literally do anything I want. I'm not gonna die. I'm not gonna die. I have the best skill in the game. I don't give a shit. Like you know what I mean? Like I don't care. Now I have to. For example, I had to, for the first time in my life, I had to press the shirk button. like I was like, what the fuck is this? And he was like, Warchap was like, you don't have that on your hotbar, do you? And I was like, nope. I've never needed it.
You don't need it normally.
I've never needed it. And now I do need it. Because I have to worry about my enmity now. And that's so fun. But yeah, we'll we have a lot of these episodes, so we're gonna talk about raids. We're gonna talk about
I just wanted to touch on that. Like, I'm glad that you can actually fuck up now.
Yes. Yeah. Bro, I don't know you're lying to me if you didn't tell me that the first boss of Cactuar dungeon, that name I can never remember, if you didn't get got by the fucking he's gonna get bigger, like the zones get bigger, if you
Yep.
you're lying. You're fucking lying if you tell me you didn't get got, because everyone
Yeah.
what do you mean?
Yeah.
I'm
That was
safe.
my
I'm
exact
safe. I'm
reaction.
safe. I'm safe.
I just want to let everybody know that in a beautiful moment of poetry, the second I said the words, "I'm glad you can fuck up now," I got hit by like 5 lasers at once in Vanguard and immediately got one shot.
Yeah.
The second the words left my mouth, I exploded and died. It was very funny.
That's
We're
very
currently
funny.
dodging Honeybee Lovely, so
That's very funny. But yeah, so I'm through Viper. Is anyone else me playing Viper?
No. I have played Picto though.
Okay.
I have also,
I've leveled Picto.
Okay, we have a
Same.
couple people. Let's start with Picto since actually I'll since I'm the only one who's played Viper so far, I'll be really, really quick. It has probably the worst LB3 in the game. Like,
damn.
Like, it is not cool. It's just not. Like, and other than that, like, it does a decent amount of damage, but like when I'm looking at a job, most of the time in this game, I'm not really worried about damage because I'm pretty certain I'll be able to clear whatever hard content I can if I'm good enough. So I'm not really worried about it. I get it's trying to do a dual stance thing without really committing to the dual stance thing. And I'm not saying it's not fun. I think it looks cool. Some of the animations are really cool. It doesn't feel as intricate as I want it to be. I wanted it to be a proper stance changer, and that's not what I got. So I was a little bit disappointed in that, to be quite honest. But other than that, I mean, it's fun leveling, and the job quest, the actual job quest, is actually really good. Like, it's actually a good job quest. So
That's good.
it's like a Monster Hunter, like the lore of the Viper, as best as I understand it, it's like you're like a vigilante basically, like saving people from like monsters and stuff like that. Like, it's cool. I have not unlocked Picto, so y'all are gonna have to put me on here.
Yeah, so Picto's job quest is quite sweet. It's you're basically helping out this Moogle do various tasks in various places to eventually look for this kind of missing girl. It's cute. There's a
Aaron, did you guess the plot twist? Like where she was at?
No, I don't think I guessed that.
So like off rip, the second like that whole thing came up, I was just like, I know where she is. It's so funny how it was just kind of presented. It's really cool. I loved it. I loved how Picto frames its story. But like its one twist was like kind of silly, but it makes a lot of sense, especially how
give a recap for the viewers at home.
So okay, so this is spoiler cast. Might as well just say the whole thing. So
I'm not gonna play that shit.
The Moogle's friend is lost, completely lost. Their master had ended up dying, right? And so she gets depressed about it. You end up tracing her trail back to Ul'dah, where you basically get told in not the prettiest of terms that she's killed herself.
Sure.
And so you're like, oh shit, well, we should probably go see the body. Well, you get there, and through some swift convincing, the Moogle gets access to her too. And you open it, and there's a painting. Just a painting. And it's the last painting that she could never sell of her old master. And the Moogle is just like, well, and it spends a good majority of the time explaining how this girl was a prodigy of pictomancy. And how skilled she was. And then you see this painting, you're like, well, where is she? Because even the guard of the tomb was like, yeah, she never came back out. She just went in, saw the tomb, and then I never saw her again. Well, she's in the painting.
Yeah, she's in the painting.
So the last duty of that is you go into the painting.
Yeah.
You fight a facsimile of her master that she's created through her own pictomancy. And then you find out that basically the Moogle was also created through her pictomancy.
Oh, so it's a fake Moogle.
It's a fake Moogle. So, like, they separated initially because the Moogle had basically said, you don't need me anymore. And she didn't take that well.
Right.
So she dipped.
Okay.
So she comes to terms with that after you win the final duty, and then the Moogle carries on. So you and the girl leave the painting, and she's like, I can make another one. She's like, but that kind of defeats the purpose of the lesson. So I'm just going to go do what pictomancers do and go help people. And then she leaves, and then that's your job quest done.
I think as well the space in the painting, if I recall correctly, is the Grand Cosmos.
It is,
Or at least,
yes.
Wait,
And,
what? Really?
Yes,
Yeah.
It is the Grand Cosmos, and you have a chance to mention that to the Moogle. You're like, is this Grand Cosmos? And like the Moogle's just like, hey, I don't know what you're talking about, but this showed up to the master. I forget his name. It's one of those long ass Ellison names. It's like it showed up to him in a dream.
Sure,
And
man.
so he painted it. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, so we're just seeing visions of other shards now. That's kind of cool. So, yeah. So, yeah, the last duty takes place in Grand Cosmos. And the last fight takes place where where all the furniture and shit is.
Wow. All right. I mean, is the class fun?
The class is very fun.
Super fun.
How does it work? I don't even know how it works. I'm going to be honest. I don't really even know how it works.
So basically how it works is there are kind of like two key components of it, I would say. You have your core colored attacks, which are like red, green, and blue.
Mm-hmm.
And you have complementary ones on top of those that are cyan, magenta, and yellow that you get through using the red, blue, and green ones,
right.
And then also getting a buff. On top of that, you have the three motifs, the creature motif, the hammer motif, and the landscape motif. And you take the time to paint these motifs, and they give you access to all sorts of stuff, special OGCT attacks, as well as a party buff as well. And you're kind of doing these two things in conjunction with each other, and it just ends up making a very kind of versatile, engaging class as a result.
Okay.
It's a very modern designed caster. Like it's like if you were trying to make new Black Mage, I think this is what you would end up getting.
Sure.
Because it's very similar to Black Mage, but they've loaded the cast times in a different place that makes it much more easy to work with. Because the whole idea with Black Mage is like, yeah, you're stuck sitting still to do your thing that does damage. Whereas with Picto, your super big cast times are like loading up a motif, which the motif cast itself is an instant.
Okay.
So like you're banking your like big nuke abilities with your cast times.
Sure.
But the cast times themselves, for the motifs at least, like they do nothing.
Right. They're the same, basically.
They just give you like a token that you can spend later for an instant.
Sure.
So it creates kind of this like to me at least as a Black Mage player, it's like inverse Black Mage, where like with Black Mage like you're standing still to do your damage, and with Picto you're standing still to prepare your damage to use later. And I've had a friend, I can't remember the word they used, but it was really funny. But it was something to the effect of like smuggling their cooldowns into burst phase.
That's very funny.
Because like that's what the job does is you get to smuggle your damage into when it's important, or when it's convenient to be able to instant cast.
Okay, cool.
It's rather overtuned at the moment, though. They definitely need to find out
just
a
nerfed
bit
it?
more.
I could do a 1 hour podcast about my frustrations with how the spells are set up. But the job design itself, fantastic, very fun.
Speaking of jobs, because we could talk about Dawntrail for 2 hours, but we can't be here forever. So I do want to say those role quests are all dog shit. I played them all.
They fucking suck.
They're all bad. They're all boring as hell. I don't care about fighting the fucking Legion of Doom. I don't care. I'm fighting these 5 goobers. They all suck. The fights
Literal
are
jobbers.
right. These literal jobbers. I'm over here fighting the fucking Dangerous Alliance. I'm sick. I don't want to fight the NWO. Get away from me. Like, these guys suck, man.
I think I've only done the caster one, and I'm mostly in the same boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only done the caster one too.
They all are bad. I guess we could talk a little bit about, well, I mean, we'll talk about it again, but I think we could touch on it. I think the raids are fire. I don't think that's a hot take. I think I think the theme is cool. I was getting kind of tired of, like, I really love the Endwalker raids because they're gothic and dramatic and so plot heavy, and they're massive, and
that is story the raid.
Their story, like the plot of those raids are incredible. I love the fact that they just went, all right, these raids, nah, we're boxing. Like these raids, we're it's time for you to just fight, and there is a plot, but who cares? Here's a dumb ring. Here's a guy who literally drinks Gatorade. Like let's go. Here's a cat. Here's a girl that here's
a cat. Here's another cat.
Yeah, here's a second
Here's a fucking
cat.
top idol.
Yeah, here's a horse.
Yeah.
Here's a horse that shoots a big gun at you.
I'm really excited to see what the other monsters they use for these souls. That for a fact there's a behemoth in there somewhere.
Oh yeah.
No,
there's no way there's not.
Look, I'll bet it right now. M12 is a behemoth. M12 is a behemoth. They are not they're not putting a behemoth in fucking M6. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be like randomly in WWE 7. Like, they're not doing that.
It could be 8. Could be end of the arc.
Maybe 8.
Maybe 8.
I just think
we gotta fight that president.
Here's the thing. I think the president is the behemoth. That's what I think.
You think so?
Yeah, I think the president is the behemoth, and that might be really ignorant, but I don't care.
How many times is the ecliptic meteor? You think?
I think he has 3, and in Savage he has 4. I think in Savage he starts with it.
That would be.
I think it's his opener.
That would be really funny.
But yeah, these raids are really, really fun. I'm glad that there's a little plot, but I like how even the plot's like, yeah, you can pay attention, but also look at these fights. Like, everyone's just happy to box. Anything else anyone wants to cover here? I think we kind of got through narratively. I mean, I guess we didn't talk about Sphene a lot. Do we really need to? Like,
I mean, her crown did light up at the end of the credits.
Oh wow, man! I wonder what that means.
She's gonna be back.
I wonder what that means.
Do you think it's gonna be her?
I think if it's not directly her, it's going to be some.
She's the president
version of her.
Sphene's trial was one of the best fights in the game, hands down.
Yep.
Like, gameplay wise, fantastic. Narrative wise, I was honestly a bit surprised that she was actually the final boss. I thought she was going to be a later thing, like the way Elidibus Seed of Sacrifice was like the later trial in Shadowbringers. Definitely thought it was going to go that way.
You thought she was Patches?
I thought she was Patches.
Okay.
I thought we would get to Living Memory and like there would be more stuff, and then like we would resolve it later,
right?
Or at least deal with her later. Pacing wise, it was a little weird. But like, yeah, I don't think she's coming back. Tito, we talked about this a little bit on your stream the one day of just like, like they flashed the crown at the end, so obviously something's going to happen with that. Someone's going to find that. And as much as people might hate us to hear us say it, because Tito and I have a fantastic track record right now. The saga that we just ended was the Hydaelyn Zodiark saga.
And it is not.
The words that were not said was it was not the Ascian saga. Because there are still multiple Ascians that have been mentioned by name that we know are in play in the story that have not been resolved.
There's one that actually has never shown up in a cutscene.
Yes.
The
Ascians are still completely in play, and they are completely absent for all of 7.0. And now the crown is flashed at the end, and we have a fun new MacGuffin key.
Yes, we're going to talk about that in a second.
That is branded Azumtech.
Yes, it is branded Azumtech.
Branded Azumtech.
You've heard of Acme Core. Get ready for Azum Core.
Azum Core.
We got a magical MacGuffin key that it was a little ham-fisted, but I'll let the developers cook. Of the whole, look at this key. It can travel between worlds and other stuff we haven't figured out yet. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Giant fucking flashing red text. this thing can do something else. We're not telling you what it is. And
I love my Lalafell lore MacGuffin.
We might not have even decided what it does yet. We're just
I don't think they decided.
And 14 is very good about doing that, about just like leaving open-ended shit that they can pick on later. That's how we got the whole Askian story in the first place, because I guarantee they didn't have Endwalker planned out when they wrote Realm Reborn. So I'm gonna let them cook, even if it was a little ham-fisted. But yeah, someone's gonna find the crown. I think Tito and I are hedging our bets that it's gonna be an Asian, and they're gonna become our like saga big baddie over the next multiple expansions, because they were very clear that we are starting a new saga. They are planning this to be a story that spans multiple expansions, which is also exactly what WoW is doing right now, because they have come to the exact same realization of you can't start and end a cohesive story in a single 2-year MMO expansion.
Correct.
It just doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
You don't get attached enough to the characters with like the scale and amount of content that comes with an MMO. So you have to do it this way.
Yes.
You have to break it up and span it. So I think Dawntrail, by the time 7.5 rolls around, we are going to be introduced to the big baddie that is going to be causing problems for the next multiple expansions, be an actual architect of what's going on. And I'm guessing that Sveen's Crown is going to play into that. And Tito and I are guessing it's going to be an Asian.
It's going to be an Asian. I think even so, I think the big thing in this story arc with the MacGuffin key specifically is you're going to get the scene of the thing glowing at the end multiple times with multiple different things. Yeah. I think every expansion is going to have a thing, because I'm going to go on a limb here. I think the Asian big bad evil plan is to destroy the source. I think they want to try again in the source, but because it's the source, they need more juice, and so they are trying to collect all of these very powerful artifacts from all these different other reflections.
So an interesting thing with that is I saw I'd have to find it and share it with the class here, is a nice little theory video that like the next real like Zodiac X-esque big bad is like Ultima. Like the deity that actually ends up corrupting Athena and La Habrea through the heart of Sabik. Because that was pre-Zodiac, like a pre-Zodiac god. Right. And also something that was affected by the Sundering, who a god herself that has 14 shards, a way to rejoin them through gets her shards back through the rejoining effort on accident, has corrupted 2 known ancients to a insane degree. And had that whole Heart of Sabik stuff. Now, you fight Ultima in the Ivalice raids, right? But that's just a primal version of her that was summoned. The actual one was sealed by Hydaelyn, and Hydaelyn's not here anymore. So Ultima could be kind of this video goes into it a lot more in depth, but it seemed like a really neat thing. If I have to find it again and share it with you guys. But
I think Ultima's
we're getting FF14 is off, is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Guys, we all know the big bad of Final Fantasy XIV is Sephiroth.
It's true. No, that's the tree guy without the H.
Oh, true.
So we got Sephiroth.
Sephiroth is gross. Yeah, I mean, I think the MacGuffin key is cool. I think I'm excited to see where it goes, even though I kind of know where we're going. But I think it's episode 2. I've said it on multiple things, and War Champ is with me, I think. The final boss of Final Fantasy XIV is Y'shtola, right? It is Y'shtola.
It's gonna be
Y'shtola.
She's unkillable. She's immortal.
She's not only she's immortal. She's literally the being that can see ether. Like she is bro. She is a crack fiend.
Remember when that ability was told that it was going to kill her one day and it just never faced her again?
She is a crack fiend for reflection stuff. And guess what we have now? And
reflection.
And the fact that she knows that we have it, bruh.
There's so much Shadowbringers references in Dawntrail. I'm pretty convinced we're going back to the source for some point, for some reason in a patch. Or going back to the first.
Yeah, I'm about to say, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like, so, I'll try and give the short version of the crackpot theory that Tito and I came up with, but we think that, like, we genuinely think that Y'shtola is going to end up becoming the super bad guy for, like, this saga. I think the ultimate theory is really interesting, and that might, like, play a part of just, like, and damn, would it be fucked up if that is such a close analog to what WoW is doing right now with Naifu. Of like corrupting voice, pretty lady becomes bad guy. But the thought is that like Y'shtola is like going real crazy about the whole like connecting all of the shards again and like super obsessed with it to a like unhealthy degree.
Obsessed.
And so Tito and I have the theory that she's going to become the ultimate bad guy, not of like a true villain, but like because like like there's something wrong with the life stream, Ultima's inside it, and like we have to like do this whatever. And everyone's going to have the usual fantasy response of just like, there has to be a different way to do this. And she's like, I can see ether. This is the only way. And then she gets like turned against us, whatever. Because they can't kill any of the Scions at this point. It's going to feel too forced if they do it at this point.
You really think so?
So the only way they can do it is if they make one into a villain. And it doesn't really make sense with anybody else to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be really interesting too, because like when you look at Final Fantasy XIV marketing, especially early on, like Y'shtola was Miss Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah,
like that was the character you plastered on everything. For like even in Dissidia in T, that's who got the slot. That's who got the character slot was Y'shtola.
Yeah.
I
don't think she dies though. I don't think we kill her. I think she's a trial. I think she's a trial.
Second last trial. Yeah. And then she gets to retire, and then they don't have to worry about her fucking vision being a plot hole every single time she appears in a cutscene.
Right. Yeah, I think it sounds really reasonable, because you can't tell me that like her 2 trips to the live stream didn't fuck her up immensely. Yeah. Like there's no way it didn't.
She saw something.
She's
Bro, not only did she see something, it's just the thing of like, and this is a testament to how good Final Fantasy XIV's writing is. You cannot tell me that Y'shtola, canonically the most intelligent person on Eorzea, find me a smarter person, that it's Y'shtola. Y'shtola is the most intelligent person on the star, and it's not close. No, it is close, because Graha's pretty smart, but like, it's Y'shtola. And
oh shit, I wouldn't even pay attention.
And the thing is with that is also we're in Strayborough Deadwalk and we're doing the last fight, and Mike just died because he wasn't a ghost. Or he was a ghost.
I was a ghost.
Oh, no.
I was not paying attention.
He was supposed to be alive and he was
Look,
dead.
man,
He's locked in.
He's locked. Yeah.
I'm locked into the Y'shtola talk.
Yeah.
So
hey man, me too. I'm talking and I'm doing this mechanic. Like,
you know what? Look, man, we all can't be you.
Yeah, that's true. I'm locked in. I talk for a living. If Hiram knows.
Yep, that's true.
But no, I really do think that like you present. This is a testament to their writing. You can't tell me that the most intelligent character in the story, in the world, who has a singular focus and obsession that we dedicated a whole series of patches to, like her obsession with the star.
All of Endwalker post content.
All of Endwalker post content is her.
7.1 to 7.5 is her being fucking obsessed about reconnecting the shards.
Yes.
And exploring the fact that the 14th?
Yes.
Is like the one that is supposed to be like the void and completely fucking destroyed with nothing left, still has something in it. There's still something there.
And not only is there something there, she's like, nope, I'm going to use this super powerful giga magic, and I'm going to find a way to tear open a hole into the void with nothing but my own intelligence. Like, what?
And now she's got a key for that.
And now she could just do it? Like, now, like, what? You just gave Batman nuclear codes.
Yeah. By the end of 7.5, like, we're going to have our new big baddie, and they're going to last, like, 2 or 3 expansions. For sure. Like, that one's a lock. Whether it's, like, Y'shtola or an Ascian took over Y'shtola 3 patches ago and we didn't notice, like, I don't know how they're going to fucking know it. Like, who knows, man?
Honestly, they haven't done, like, living possession since Thancred. We're overdue.
Yeah, and this community loves to be like, oh, well, what happened with Pot Point you guys used only once before? It's like, all right, we'll bring it back. Bet. Like,
right.
You want to play this game? Let's go.
Let Gaius go Super Saiyan again. Like, come on.
And, like, another thing that me and Tito have, like, gotten frustrated about is, like, all the people looking at 7.0 and just be like, oh, like, the story doesn't make sense. It's like, we're in fucking 7.0 out of 5 goddamn patches at the starting of a story we know is about to last at least 2 or 3 expansions, maybe 4. Like, shut up. Like, there's going to be more stuff. No one's reading the first Lord of the Rings book and being like, why is this character they introduced not doing anything? It's coming later,
hey, bro, I'm not going to lie. Frodo kind of sucks. Like, this character kind of ass for real.
There's just going to be stuff later. Like, everybody's looking at, like, the Endless and everything just like, man, this is like, this is just Amarat all over again. Like, why is this exactly the same? Do you think that's not a parallel for a fucking reason? The Ascians are still in the story. You think there's not going to be another one coming back that's going to pick up her crown and do the exact same goddamn shit as Amarat all over again? There's a reason there's parallels.
Bro, the Ascians love nuking. They love nuking dimensions. That's like their shit. They have.
Remember, Fandaniel wanted to world end because he was bored. You don't think the other 5 are gonna get bored?
Yes, they're all bored, bro. They love doing shit. They just back there rubbing their grubby little hands, being like, I wonder what reflection we can fucking nuke today. Like, they're fucking over there, bro, fucking with their thumbs up their asses, just being like, yes, evil. Like, they love it. They love it.
Yeah. And 1 or 2 of them want to get revenge for Zodiark.
They
all felt it.
Mm-hmm. Bro, and one of them might want to get revenge for Hydaelyn. We don't know.
That's true.
Because just because they're Ascians doesn't mean they're, like, that's the thing too. This is more credence to the thing. Just because they're Ascians doesn't mean they're not all Emmett. They're not all La Habrea. They're not all, you know what I mean? Like, they don't have to be, is what I'm saying. Like, one of them can just be like, like, the most powerful Ascian / ancient we know is just a guy who had ADHD, who just walks around being like, what the fuck is over here? Ooh, a cookie. Like, he just does that. And then
that's us.
And it's you. And it's you. like what the you don't think one of them is a fucking weirdo that's just like, I love just being around and just my favorite thing to do is to make cookies. Like, one of them could be a Cully. You don't know.
Azem really loved his grapes, man.
You don't know, man.
He fought a volcano for the grapes.
Fucking damn it. Oh, God.
That's a true fact.
Yeah, Dawntrail's pretty good.
Yeah, that's why. Like, I'm looking at the story of Dawntrail, like, on its own and understanding that it is the starting of a story and being like, yeah, like, there's more here. I'm not going to judge unresolved things or weird pacing because I don't have the whole book yet. You got to wait.
Yeah. And we're going to have a podcast. We're going to have another show about the Hydaelyn arc in its entirety. But we want to do the Dawntrail one first because obviously that's what's out right now. But hopefully we'll do one about the whatever the fuck this arc is called. I'm calling it. We're gonna have one about the Y'shtola arc.
The Y'shtola arc.
We're going to.
Ascians 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Not the Ascians dose.
The Ascians dose.
No. All right. Well.
Dose Emmett.
Yeah. Cool.
He's back
with a refreshing Dos Emmett. Like a Dos Equis.
Yep.
Yeah, I see what you were doing. I see what you were doing.
You got me.
Yeah, I got you, bro. All right. Well, that's going to be it for today's episode of the Light Party Podcast. We will be back next week, right in time for Weekly Reset, 11 o'clock a.m. EST on Spotify and YouTube. All of our socials will be here at the bottom. We're going to start a new thing here. We're going to end with one of us, just giving us a fun fact or something that they want to know. Let's say some bullshit about what they did in the last week on Final Fantasy XIV. Mike, do you got anything?
I am a recent Island Sanctuary addict. I need help. Please send help.
God damn it, War Champ! What the fuck did you do?
Listen. I have no responsibility in this.
What?
I did nothing.
You knew he was a coke addict. You knew he was a meth head, and
he asked a question.
Oh, so you're that guy.
You gave answer.
I'm an honest man. If a coke addict comes up to me and is just like, "Yo, heroin any good?" I'm just like, "Yeah, you know." I'm not just gonna lie. You know, he just lie to his face.
God damn it!
Oh fuck!
I'll tell him like, "Hey, like you shouldn't do it," but like,
hey man.
God fucking damn it!
Good though.
It's not healthy, but like.
Oh,
a lot of the best things in life aren't healthy.
Speaking of not healthy, Mike, what was the other thing that we did?
Oh god, hey, we finished this animal weapons, man.
We finished our animal weapons.
Oh, congratulations!
It
took us 3 weeks.
I have a purple book now.
I have a gun. Now, I'm not gonna lie. As much as the gun is fire. Like the gun is worth it. Like the gun is very nice. Yeah. So
I started something cool.
What did you start?
I started Savage Raiding for the very first time last week. Yay!
Where you at?
Literally, it was the first session last week. I just joined a casual static. We do a couple hours 2 times a week, and I actually missed this. I missed the second session because I was in Birmingham doing tournament things. But yeah, first session was good fun. We started M1S. We progged up to the clone claws mechanics, where you got the clone leaping 1-2 claw and the clone quadruple crossing.
Okay, yeah.
It's been very fun so far.
Very important question.
Yes.
Are you guys doing the mechanics true north or boss relative for like your positioning?
True north.
God, all right. We're gonna have to find another person for the podcast.
God,
what the
fuck? God damn it, he's done.
That's silly.
No. As the
No.
one silly person in my 8-person static, disagree. No, most people do true north. My brain works boss relative. It always has. It has since fucking Shadowbringers.
Not gonna lie, I don't know another way because that's how he calls.
It's true.
I don't know.
No, a lot of our strats have been true north.
That's true.
But it's not how my brain works, which
Yeah.
makes shot calling interesting because I have to explain the mechanic in a way that my brain doesn't do it. My static, did we clear M1 for the first time last week? No, I think it was the week before. I think it was after our last recording. We killed M1S, and we're halfway through M2 now.
Mike and I are fiending to do even the extremes. We haven't even done the extremes yet.
The extremes are good.
So we might party
I've
find
done EX1. I got my mount. It was very fun.
You got the mount already? What the fuck?
I got it in exactly 25 runs.
That's okay. That's not bad. That's acceptable.
Rather do that than get another animal weapon.
Honestly.
Yeah, don't do that.
I'm already working on Dark Knight.
But the gun is calling me.
Yeah.
Actually, as a tank, there's a mechanic in EX1 that is incredibly cool for tanks. Like incredibly cool.
Okay, don't tell me. I want to do it.
I won't.
Okay.
Without spoiling, which mech?
I guess the name won't really mean anything at the moment. Mountain Fire.
I think I know what you mean.
Yeah.
The sidestep?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very fun mechanic.
Oh, I need to do that. Mike, we're in a party finder this week. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Before the next time we record, we're going to do it.
Okay.
God damn it. I don't even want the mount.
I do. The fun.
Yeah, but you want the gear though, so you can go into Savage.
I do. I do want the gear.
I need the mount so I can
baby
do a little
710 gear. I need 720. I need a weapon. All right. Well, that's going to be it for the Light Party Podcast. Appreciate each and every one of y'all who are listening. Make sure you follow us on X, on YouTube, and here. Make sure you subscribe on Spotify. Next week, what mods should just be in the fucking game?
I have a list.
We have a list. All right, everybody. Until we queue up next time, we'll see you next week at Reset. Goodbye.
Bye.
See ya.